Welcome to the panel shows Down the Track. My name's Jared McLean, and with me here at the Atura Hotel, Rob Oberg, my co-host, along with our two guests, Adam Layton and Chris Matheson, here to talk everything top bike. Now, guys, it didn't exactly go all your way, either of your ways this weekend, but run us through. It's still great to sort of have such a fantastic event in the Gulf Western Oils Nitro Thunder. Fantastic crowd, some great racing on track. But top bike, it didn't quite perform. Chris, we saw you in the lanes at one stage, but we didn't see you come out. Run us through from the top. What happened?
First day we had a couple of qualifiers, so we went out and they're really only shakedown passes on Friday. So we did those and we did a really good half track, probably the best half track we've done for 9 years. So that was encouraging. So everything was looking good for the next day. Unfortunately, half the field broke overnight. So we went from 4 to 2 the next day, and then we came out. We did a couple of passes, which were again only half-track passes, and then we got held up in the lanes for quite a bit of time. We got shuffled around a bit, and it ended up getting cold and damp, so we ended up packing up. It wasn't worth running. There was no. It became a non-round, so it was really only exhibition. Unfortunately, good crowd, good weather, but yeah, we didn't produce the results.
Adam, unfortunately, we only saw you in the early stages of the event. It was good to see you at least get the bike out onto track, but after that, you were on Gulf Western Oils corporate duty.
Yeah, I thought I'd take on that role and help out Gulf Western Oils and talk to their clients and found myself, just doing that side of it,
So Adam, what happened in testing, didn't you? Did some damage to your Harley?
Yeah, I just did a slight bit of damage. Like I can actually handle a bit more catastrophic damage than that, but I probably should have had a bottom end sitting there ready to go. I only run on one engine on my team and barrels and heads. I don't have engines sitting in the truck. And I had some components in there that I really wanted to look after for the future of what I want to do, and that's try and break into some records or get near them in Australia for the Top Fuel Harley side of it anyway.
Well, traditionally the best conditions for record setting of the year is always the Gulf Western Oils Winter Nationals up at Willowbank. So are you now going to target that?
Yeah, I love that surface and that preparation. It's like a guarantee. I've only been there once. It's been a dream to race there all my life, and going off that hill there on a motorbike and you can't see, I haven't got the local track advantage like Chris has. I found myself, I knew what the weather was going to be for this race meeting and the nights and how they were going to play out, and it was a shame my bike wasn't ready for Sydney or for the main event.
So what we need to do though is, I guess, look at the positives, Chris. That test pass, that half pass, up in commentary, I looked down, saw that screen and just went, wow. Yeah, I mean, that was, how close to your best ever?
We ran a 104.60 and we've run 1.0s on a couple of occasions some years ago. Then we ran a 2.6, which that's quicker than we've been in the 3.30. And then we ran a 3.8, 3.88. I think the fastest I've ever been is a 3.86, but bearing in mind, I've turned it off at less than half track. Yeah. That's why the mile an hour is so low. We've done 206 mile an hour to half track at 3.86, so it's right up there. And I, to be honest, I think the tracks on average, 8-10 years ago were probably a little bit better than what they are at the moment. So to run that incremental, wow, yeah, that's world speed stuff.
To put it in context, when we look at cars like the Pro Alcohol cars or the Pro Slammers, if you run a half track time like that, you're on your way to probably about a 578, or 580. Mm. So I mean, that's absolutely hauling the mail, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quick.
And it feel good on the bike?
Actually felt slow, to be honest with you.
The smooth ones are the fast ones?
It shook a little bit, in the tyre. So I think we're probably right on the limit. And then we actually had an ignition malfunction at about 480 feet, and it went from sort of 60-degree ignition to 40 degrees, so it just dropped. So there's no point continuing. That's why we stopped where we did. So even if we got underpowered a half track, it would have been a 370 to half track, and probably 208, 209 mile an hour.
That's world standard, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, that's right up there. Yeah.
You mentioned the track, and I mean the track was described as Jekyll and Hyde this weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was, at one moment it had a lot of teeth, and the next moment, literally, you're probably flat out getting traction on a bicycle.
Yeah, well, we went out in the first one on Friday night, and we went 3 feet, went up in smoke, and we went back and scratched our heads. What the hell do we do? So we made some adjustments and came out, and we're all sort of, because when they blow the tyre off, if you do it a few times, you kind of expect it, and you've got to be very careful to be ready, because if it goes, you'll be still sitting back there and the bike's gone, and you sort of never catch up to them on the run. And it took off, and I thought, oh yeah, this feels okay. Then I could feel it vibrating through the seat, so it's on the edge of slipping, and just powered along. And then when Clint, my young guy, came down to pick me up at the end, he had a split from here to there on his face, and I thought, wow, what's he smiling about? And he said, yeah, I think I just heard we ran a 380. I said, no, we couldn't have run a 380. And sure as anything, we did. We ran a 104, so that was killer. Yeah.
When you're actually on the bike, and we're talking about that super quick half track pass, you say you can feel things through the seat, you can feel it's on the edge. What hope does any mere mortal have? I mean, you've got a liquid crystal display in front of you with the vitals of the bike. How would anyone have any hope of being able to pick if something's about to go wrong just by keeping an eye on that?
Well, to be honest, the only time I look at that's in the pit, when we set the idle and the motor up and check the vital signs pretty much. When we're on the bike, my whole focus is where I am on the track when we're lining it up, and keeping a quick eye on what's happening beneath me. You don't want to spot a leak or anything, and it's always very reassuring to see the track walkers follow you back after a burnout. He's looking for liquid, because liquid's our enemy if we have any on the track. So you really don't look at the dash. It just comes from experience as to what the bike's doing. But you've really got to do the run in your head before you do it, because we move a football field a second once we get to half track. So you can't physically, you've virtually got to preempt what it's doing on the run.
Now, I think after the Gulf Western Oils Nitro Thunder event, we have to look forward, I guess, at the future of Top Bike, really, Rob.
Well, yeah, I mean, the bike counts this year have been not flash at a number of events. I guess it's safe to say, Adam, Chris, that really need a good performance at the Gulf Western Oils Winter Nationals with a good bike count and some good racing, to get a viable next season in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can't race ourselves, even though we seem to do it every time. The future of our bracket's on the cliff at the moment, and if we don't encourage younger guys and other teams into it, and I think we're at a point where we need to attract other types of machinery into the bracket to make it survive. Otherwise it won't survive. And we spoke about it this weekend. We went to Santos a month ago. We had the same thing, not an event because not enough numbers. Again this weekend, not enough. So we've spoken about, well, what do we do at the end of the season? We go to America and try and run there where they've got the numbers, unless there's a dramatic change. And I honestly don't know what the dramatic change will be to get the numbers up.
Well, for you, Adam, I mean, you're a reasonably newcomer to this category, and you've made a large investment to get in. So I guess it's a case of needing to be proactive and get out there and try and find or encourage some competitors in.
Well, it is exciting actually. Like, I've been working with the riders around Australia, there's a lot of bikes sitting in sheds, and there's some really good bikes sitting in sheds, and whether it be age of riders or family or money. But what I'm looking forward to is we've got some pro stock guys who are very serious, like Corey Buddingtons and people like that, who are stepping in the top fuel bike, are just itching. They'd have a bike now. You know, they're keen and they're solid guys. We've got a new generation of people coming into it, and it's not an easy thing to come into. Even if you're running pro stock bike, there's not a lot that helps you even get on a top fuel bike. It's still a massive step. I'm trying to encourage the guys to focus on, there's guys building bikes and they're all saying they're really fast and as fast as Chris's, and they're going to set the world on fire with fives and all that. And they're going to come out when they're doing fives. Well, I'm saying come out now and don't rely on the prize money to drive your sport. You know, there's guys in Melbourne with 4 cylinders and they say they're $500,000 bikes, and they're talking about a $500 increase in prize money. I don't get it. Like, when I started this sport, I don't have a massive business. I knew I had to work both ends and have sponsorship or have people get interested, and also roll the dice and say, hey guys, if like Gulf Western Oils, can you look into keeping an eye on me for the future, and you know, and now I've built a really good relationship, and it helps me keep going. And obviously Century USA, you know, I haven't won titles like Chris in top fuel bike, you know, so I knew I had to start the ball rolling, get some people interested in me and or my bike and the team, and try and look professional, and you know, start from there, not rely on prize money. If you rely on prize money in this sport, or any sport, motorsport, you really lost your way before you get into it.
Well, the old saying is the way to make a small fortune in drag racing is to start with a large one, and you'll just whittle it down there. Chris, you mentioned the, you know, I know you've talked before about racing in America. When you bought the bike, you ran it over there, didn't you?
Yeah, when we first bought it, we tested over there. We didn't compete, but we tested when we bought it, yeah.
So a life ambition to get the Nitro Voodoo multi-cylinder back there and mix it up with people like McBride?
Yeah, I'd like to leave a mark, not a skid mark, but a mark on the sport here before we go, to give us a bit of credibility. You know, we'd certainly like to run a 5 here, because that's obviously history in Australia. It's the last place on earth that hasn't occurred. So we'd certainly like to do that. We've really still got the winners to try and do that. And then I'd like to go, I said to McBride when I bought it, the bike, you know, keep a spot in your workshop because we'll be back. So every time I talk to Larry, I remind him. So yeah, I'd like to do that before I'm too old.
Well, the Gulf Western Oils Winter Nationals, the whole event's run during daylight,
yes,
in winter air,
yes,
at Willowbank. We've got normally over 500 entries, so there's 4 days of rubber being laid into that track.
Yep.
The chances are probably never going to be better than next month, are they?
It'll be killer. Yeah, all our big numbers that we've run have been at Willowbank in good air on a good track.
Well, the 8th mile that you ran here sort of points to something special up there.
Yeah, if we can string it together, if we can get off the line, our biggest problem is getting off the line. If we can get off the line, and the last 2 meetings, we ran half track here 4 times over the weekend. At Willowbank a month ago, we did 4 launches. So that's what we're focused on, getting our short time right, which we did on the weekend. If we get anywhere close to that, they'll be killer numbers, yeah.
Well, that's all we've got time for here on the panel shows. Down the track at the Atura Hotel, our guests Adam Layton and Chris Matheson, from myself, Jared McLean, and Rob Oberg. We'll catch you soon.